Our dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you at the beginning of this Planning Commission meeting this evening, we are grateful unto Thee for all Thou provides for us and helps us in our lives. We're grateful to be able to be a part and live here in this great valley. We pray for Thy guidance and help this night with the topics, that we'll be able to discuss the things in a manner to be pleasing unto Thee, and those who are present, that we'll be able to do the right things and be able to have Thy guidance, that we'll be able to always have a special spirit here in this valley as we associate amongst one another. We're grateful unto Thee again for all Thou dost for us. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? I'll take a motion.
So I'll move to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Declaration of conflicts of interest? Seeing none?
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Chair. I don't have a conflict, but with Wasatch Peaks Ranch, our water rights originate up on Wasatch Peaks Ranch. We've had discussions with them, as well as stormwater that is being dumped on our place, so just want the public to be aware of that.
Any others? Okay. And seeing no others, now's the time for public comment. So I'm assuming most of you are not familiar with this. Public comment is anything that you'd like to talk about that's happening within the county. The legislative items, which tonight we only have one, which is number 6, and that has to do with the area that's on Trappers Loop just south of Trappers Point. That will have its own public hearing that we will open up the floor for people to comment publicly. The other items that are on here, from the Barrow Bar small subdivision down through the Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 2, will not have a public comment period. So if you wanted to talk about those, now is your time to do that. And I just ask that you go to the podium and speak into the microphone and let us know your name and just the approximate area where you live in within Morgan County or elsewhere. So do we have anybody for public comment?
Pass those to me.
Yes, sir. At the podium.
Yes, my name is Chet Adams. I live on Highway 66. Just a quick comment about the proposed 7-home subdivision on that road. Two conflicts, or two concerns, I guess, that I have. I think you have an email that I sent out to the board. Hopefully each of you had a chance to review that. First concern certainly is the traffic issue there. I have a plot map of the proposal. Both of those areas where they come onto the highway are on a blind corner going both ways. Whether you head north or south, there's a blind corner there. I've lived just above there, south of there, for the last 35 years, and that's a treacherous road right through there. Mrs. Corpley, who's here today, her driveway actually comes off of that hill, where the proposal is to adjacent across the street from that. And if you head south on a Saturday or Sunday, you take your life in your hands on that road. I'm telling you. The speed limit is 50, and that evidently is just a suggestion in that area, because it's not, people are traveling when they go through there. And I know previously, and where there have been proposals along that highway, people have been denied and by the state road to go just directly on the highway. That is one concern. The second, and the map I have is not really clear, but I just wanted to verify or make sure that none of this proposal is making adjustments to the R20 zoning in that area. the map is not very clear, at least that I have. I know it's R1 on the highway, behind that is R20. Just some clarification if that preliminary proposal is adhering to those zoning laws as is presently, or if there needs to be adjustment or changes. Personally, as a member of the community, I'm very concerned about that because this whole valley can be transformed into houses that quick by the opening of those kind of activities. Now, I understand that a developer or a person has every right to build homes in an area that they follow the rules, but I do think based on the Morgan County General Plan, I'm not sure the subdivisions all the way up through this valley meet that criteria. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ron Musselman Enterprise. I believe the last meeting, it was brought up about they want to re-look at the general plan for the county. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, why are we doing this? Is this another government deal from the state down to the county that we have to follow what the state wants to do? They took away our independence as far as nonpartisan. And so now we are, I would say, beholden to the state. And if you hear our state legislators, and they complain about the federal government putting a heavy thumb on, or we'll give you money for this, or if you don't do it, you don't get it. And I kind of feel like we kind of get a little pressure in that direction here. We are faced in this country right now a point in time that I have seen before. I'm 77 years old. I was around when Jimmy Carter was president of the United States. Interest rates was at 17% for a house. I've also seen gas lines at gas stations, and you're seeing this same nonsense going on right now. The thing that it should disturb everyone is everything that we have, as far as, let's just talk about food, is mostly shipped into us. And that's scary, because you're sitting in a situation right now that diesel fuel is way high. Everything you touch in the store is way high, and it's because of this, as far as I'm concerned, the stupidity that's going on in our government. This is totally unnecessary, and I think that from our county and a state situation, we need to start looking at how are we going to feed ourselves. Everything is being shipped into us, pretty much. We have what I consider a working county. We have farms, we have ranchers, we have dairy farms, and I think that we need to really back up and start looking at how we're going to preserve our farmlands. Our future generations are going to wind up wishing we had it. With that, I also noticed that on this plan that I guess our county planner was putting up there about our county and what we should be doing and everything, and rights to the river and trails and bicycle routes and all this nonsense. Bicycles, let's start taxing them. They want special lanes just for them. Want them to pay for their own, pay for this, and they're going to get excuses for that. Like I said, we're in a working county where you might drive down the street and run into a herd of sheep that's being moved from one place to another. Or you might run into a wide swather or a baler. We also see on Saturday, and I see it a lot, bicyclers that come through here, and you can always tell the ladies compared to the men. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put my 2 cents worth there and get in trouble. But you can always tell when there's women on bicycles. They're side by side and their mouths are going. So I think there needs to be some restrictions in that direction. I also look at that pie in the sky plan, and there's one thing that's great. I love it. I like our community the way it is. There's only one problem with it, and it's and I'm going to get myself in trouble here again. I call them cityots. They're idiots from the city. They come up here, they move up here, and all of a sudden, they're like a dog that just got let out of a kennel. They go wild. Their kids, they give them four-wheeler pacifiers to keep them busy. They're on our county roads or in our county side, off the side of the roads. No mufflers, lots of noise, stirring up a bunch of dust. I think this needs to be addressed. They're not old enough. Some of them, I'll guarantee, are not 16 years old. And I really think that this needs to be addressed. I'm tired of the noise. I'm tired of the dirt, especially in the middle of the summer. We have truckers that are using our roads. The Wardells, I have nothing but high respect for these guys. Trucks are quiet. They're 40-mile-an-hour guys. They're very respectful of everybody else. I'm impressed. They're good neighbors. And like I said, I don't know what you're going to do, and I don't know how you're going to do it, but we need to preserve our farmlands. If you don't, our future generations, I don't know what they're going to eat or where they're going to get it from. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anybody else?
I came in just a minute late. Is this the comment period for everything we're going to be discussing tonight, or that you're looking at?
Except for number 6, which has to do with the proposed zone map amendment of just south of Trappers Loop. I'm sorry, Trappers Point on Trappers Loop.
Okay. So if I wanted, okay, so my name is Shelley Page, and I live on Ridgefield Lane. And I wanted to comment on number 8, the River Bend Estate Small Subdivision. And I am really concerned about the entry onto Highway 66 of the 4 lots, 4 houses. I compare Highway 66 to the road that goes through Kiowa and Oakley. And when you get to curvy areas, you know, that have houses along them, they have highway signs that say 35 miles per hour and 600 feet. And then, you know, you have to go 35 miles an hour to make it safely through there for the people that live there. And I just think that Highway 66 is really dangerous, especially, well, I live on Ridgefield Lane. And so I know how hard it is to get out onto Highway 66 off of Ridgefield Lane, because there's this little rise in the road, and I pull out, sometimes I pull out in front of people, and they end up right on my tail. I can't see them, and they can't see me. And they're towing boats and trailers, and they're fifth wheels or horse trailers, and it's really scary. And there was a discussion on Facebook on the Porterville Ridgefield page, just about how that UDOT had approved those entryways onto Highway 66. And I just need to say that UDOT isn't always right, and I think they need to reconsider. If UDOT was right, they would have, some sections are 40 miles per hour now that go through homes on Highway 66. And many are 50 miles an hour, and it's just really a concern. And I respect my neighbors. And I have no grudge against anybody. I really want that subdivision to either be reworked so that those houses don't come out on Highway 66, or that the speed limit on Highway 66 is reduced. And it would be, I would really urge you, also in the Facebook comment going back and forth, Dee Dee and Ryan said that they just want to get it developed in case, they die and they want it to be set for their kids. So there's time to get it right. And they said they're not planning on developing now. So I would really urge you to work with the county, tell the county commission, whatever, to try, whether this goes through or not, that the county commission work with UDOT to get the speed limit reduced. And anyway, I came in on the end of Brother Adams' discussion about development, and I realize that people have private property rights, but I really feel like once the land is gone, it's gone. And if our county could do something where we could raise money to purchase land, to preserve it and preserve our way of life, I know other communities do it. We are really capable. You have people that have a lot of money here. I don't know if they'd be willing to contribute. I'd be willing to spend time working on things. But and I also wanted to say something about about number 10, Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 2 preliminary plat. And let's see. I am one of the 5 referendum sponsors that were sued for $10 million by Wasatch Peaks Ranch. And, we were just trying to, we didn't agree with the ordinance, and we didn't think that it had wide enough, public knowledge about what was going on. And so we 5 + 1 signed those documents, and so we've been in court. We went to the Supreme Court. We've spent thousands of dollars just to try to do our constitutional right and participate in government. And so our attorney said that we don't understand why Wasatch Peaks Ranch is pursuing Phase 2 when the referendum is working its way through the courts, and whatever they're building in Phase 1 is at their own risk. Because if the referendum goes through, things will change. I mean, people will have the opportunity to, hopefully we can get it on the ballot and people can express they can vote whether they like the changes, the sweeping changes that were made. And so anyway, you can contact our county attorney and he can tell you more about it. But I just want to tell you I am thankful you're here and that we have the opportunity to talk and give you our ideas. I really hope you'll listen to the public and it takes a lot of energy to try to participate. It's hard. So please don't always think that people that express their opinion are sort of straying for something. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm Pat Bird, and I live on Morgan Valley Drive, and I'm against the subdivision. The master plan for Ridgefield that was set up years ago said no subdivisions in Ridgefield. And you have to have an acre to build a house on. So if they're going to do half-acre lots, that's against, everybody else has to have acre lots. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, we will go into item number 6.
So this rezone application is for the amendment of the zoning map. The project location is off of Trappers Street, south of Trappers Point. It's to rezone 34.83 acres that is currently zoned as R1, be rezoned as R120. According to the future land use map, which you can find in Exhibit A. The area is showing as village low density residential, which allows for 2 units per acre. There is a portion of land, and then there is a portion of land to the west of the area in question that is zoned for R120. You go to Exhibit B.
Like at all.
Okay. So yeah, it's being rezoned from RR10 to R120. Sorry, just to reiterate, can you hear me? Sorry about that. So yeah. So that's what it is right now, R10. To the left of that is a little portion of R120. So I'm assuming they want to blend into that. But if you go back to Exhibit A, it's showing as village low density residential, which would be about the 2 acres, or the 2 units per acre. So that's kind of where that R120 suggestion is coming from the applicant. Yeah? Is there any questions?
Any questions for staff?
No, I have questions for us though.
Okay.
Can we have like a recap of what has been happening at this place
So this
for a
is
minute?
So this is a completely new application. It doesn't have anything to do with Frontier Estates or Trappers Point. So basically the area that would be south of Trappers Point is already on the future land use map as village low density, which is half-acre lots. And so they are requesting a rezone in accordance with the general plan and the future land use map.
And it has, this application has nothing to do with what we've already seen from this area.
I don't think
No,
parties
no.
have anything to do with one.
Separate.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say they don't have anything to do with one another. I don't have private conversations, but they are separate parties.
Correct.
Separate parcel.
Okay.
And is the applicant here?
Yes. You guys want to do public hearing first or talk to that?
Would you prefer public hearing first so you can address her comments?
Yeah, I'm happy to actually give an introduction, and then
Okay.
as the public makes comments, I'm happy to answer any questions that inevitably arise. My name is Greg Day. I'm with CW Land Company. Our address of business is 1222 Legacy Boulevard crossing in Centerlite, Utah. We're a master plan community developer. We have communities throughout the state. We're a local company in Davis, Weber, Morgan County. We have many employees actually that live in Morgan County. We think this is a great property. We think it's a beautiful property. We believe that it deserves a lot of attention. We want to do something that will really show a quality project for the community. Our application is for R120. The application reflects the general plan. We don't want to deviate from the general plan. We want to maintain the general plan. Will be 2 units per acre. We've had a lot of discussions with a lot of the interested parties, the districts, UDOT, water company, and I'm happy to share some of that information as we go forward. The step we're doing now is simply the rezone, is all we're requesting for right now. Once if the rezone is granted, then we can go into more of the technical analysis. That's my introduction. Is there any initial questions before we go into public comment? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I move to go in public comment for item number 6.
I have a motion?
Second.
I'm sorry, that's for a public hearing, correct?
Public hearing,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now's the time for the public hearing for item number 6, for the rezone of the land just south of Trappers Point along Trappers Loop Road. I guess it's not entirely along Trappers Loop Road. Once again, please step up to the microphone, give your name and the approximate area that you are, and we will not be answering your questions directly. It's not a time to debate, but we will be taking notes, and we will try to get all of those questions answered afterwards.
Do you guys want to read the email we received?
Oh. Sure. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. We did get one email. We'll just get this in here very quickly. This is from a Mary Ellen Rollins, and she says that she is in support of the proposed zone map amendment, but traffic, once again, does need to be addressed. I think that's a common theme within the county itself. She says the development could produce another 120 vehicles, and measures need to be set in place to slow the traffic down. Again, a very common thing within the county. And also there's a sharp curve. Anybody who lives on Highway 66 also knows about this. And that was from Mary Ellen Rollins. And if I got anything out of there, somebody just please correct me on that. Sorry about that. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Rich Koski, excuse me, losing my voice, but I live on Rendezvous Road, so I'm right here. The plot that's adjacent, back up to the Warner property. I just have a couple of quick questions. Imagine the developer or the Warners can answer. The 35 acres.
No, sir, please just address us, and
Okay.
Afterwards we will address all the questions at one time.
Okay, my question is the 35 acres defined by the red lines?
That is it's approximate.
It doesn't include the R10 that's below it?
It's approximate. We would have to,
You can check that.
yeah. But it's approximate,
Within the red lines is 35 acres?
yes.
Yeah, that's a density question. That's, yeah, okay. And 70, my other question is basically potential 70 homes.
And we will address these afterwards.
Okay. The other question is a safety issue. I'd like to know where the access road will be. There's a grade issue and there's a small wetland issue, which will limit to where that plat of land will be accessed. I'm just curious. And I looked at the zoning application and the word high density was in it. Was that a mistake?
Okay, I'll answer it afterwards. Yes, sir. Is there anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I move to go out of public hearing for item number 6.
Have a motion, looking for a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Would the applicant like to, actually, before the applicant even talks about it, so things like access roads, wetlands, et cetera, are not actually done during a rezone. That would be once they,
Development.
yeah, once they started,
Number of homes.
exactly.
Same with access.
Same with access, but all this is a rezone. You're not looking at individual lots or road layouts or anything like that. As far as like, when you say 35 acres can yield up to 70 homes, that math is correct, except they do have to account things like roads, parks, et cetera, are not going, so there is a factor, but it could be up to 70, but it's probably not going to be 70.
It could be.
Right. But it could be, but they would have to be very, very creative. Incredibly
No
creative.
roads.
Get your roads in there, it'll be less, so.
Right. So, as far as like the high density, I believe the application actually said high quality homes, not high density. So, regardless of what the application says, the code actually defines what low density is, and village low density is essentially two homes per acre. And they would have to, regardless of what their application said, they could say incredibly high density. It doesn't change the fact that this is what they are requesting, which is one house per 20,000 square feet. And does the applicant want to address anything else?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank the people who've shown up for the public comment and asked questions. I'm happy to answer them, and they can reach out to me anytime during this process, and I'm happy to share with them where we're at. We have begun quite a bit of analysis, even though we're just doing a rezone. We like to know upfront some of the challenges that are on the property. And so the first comment that I have in my notes was traffic. We've already done a pre-application meeting with UDOT. This property in and of itself already has one access. It's on the north side of the property. UDOT will honor that, and the road doesn't prohibit another access. However, there's a lot of requirements. One of them, for example, is the distance from the existing Trappers Point access to the next one. It's about 660 feet is what they told me on the phone. I think it'll be much further than that. In addition, we're probably going to have to build a deceleration lane and an acceleration lane onto Trappers Point. UDOT's going to highly regulate that access and what it looks like. There's going to be some, adjustments to guardrails perhaps, or some other things that may happen. I don't really have clear answers to those because I just don't know yet. Those are the requirements that they're going to levy onto us. One positive note of that is Trappers Point doesn't have a really good secondary access. That causes a problem for emergency services. This subdivision will actually solve that problem. It'll help give a paved secondary access for emergency services to get out of that neighborhood in the event that there is a problem. We're very much aware of the traffic, and we're committed to working towards that. The second gentleman talked about the density, the acreage. That map's pretty accurate. It is just about 35 acres. There's potential for about 70 units. My guess will be closer to 50 units. In addition to the roads, I think the commissioner mentioned, we have geologic issues we have to undertake. We have slope issues we have to identify. All of that limits what we can put on the property. So I believe it'll be closer to 50 units. It may be 55. It depends on how it all lays out, how all that information comes out. But that would be my guess. We want it to be a very uncrowded neighborhood. We're not looking to put as many homes as possible in there. I don't know if I said this in my opening remarks, but the lots will probably be bigger than what's in Trappers Point. Many of those, I think, are a third acre. There's some half acres, but I think this would be a tremendous value add to that community. So those are the comments that I want to respond to, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Does anybody have questions?
No questions?
Okay, thank you. So discussion amongst ourselves.
If it's within the future land use map, so, and it's similar to what's around there to the north as well.
Okay. Looking for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move we forward a positive recommendation to the County Commission for Warner rezone map amendment, application number 22.036, changing the zoning district from RR10 to R120 based on the findings listed in the staff report dated June 30th, 2022.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7, the Barrow Bar Small Subdivision.
Okay, so this application is seeking approval of a small subdivision located at 715 West, 1550 South, and North. The subdivision will consist of one lot that is about 20.02 acres. It proposes to use Ridgefield pipeline for culinary and will use on-site treatment system for wastewater. And the access to this lot is from Tiger Hollow Road. Right now, the zoning is 820, and the purpose of this land use designation is to support agricultural operations while allowing for large lot residential. Yeah, the residential density is 1 unit per 20 acres, which the subdivision complies with.
Any questions for staff?
Not right at the moment.
Would the applicant like to speak? No. Is the applicant here? Okay, okay, they don't, you don't have to, I mean, does anybody have questions for the applicant?
Good afternoon. I don't want to take much time. My name is Derek Wiscombe. We just want to build a house and follow the county zoning that's 20 acres for that house. Happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
I have a few. Notice on the private lane, I don't believe the current lane meets the standard for our private lane requirements. So I'm more like to possibly have a discussion about recommending that that be brought up and comply with our county code prior to recordation of the plat.
Okay, as far as, what are your concerns? With
The width of it, the actual, needs to be
20 feet?
the 20 feet. The right-of-way's wide enough, but the width of the improved surface. But
Yeah,
that's,
20 feet.
yes.
And we're planning to meet that.
Okay. Then there's another, it's come to my attention that Ridgefield water does not have sufficient storage for fire protection. And so that's going to probably need to be a condition.
Yeah, so I can't speak to that. I know they have 120,000 gallons of storage, and we have met with Boyd Kerrigan. We're going to have a fire hydrant within 250 feet of our house with 26-foot road width in case a fire hydrant needs to pass a fire hydrant while they're filling up with water for one house that's at that dead end road. So we have met with Boyd, and our plan to follow those codes as well.
But our code requires 120,000 gallons just for fire protection and storage. That doesn't include culinary. So the system is kind of deficient, so it'll just be a condition
Okay.
that it's, we can have the discussion.
Okay, thank you.
And that, another thing, that you need an easement maintenance agreement for the private lane would need to be recorded prior to recording the plat. That's per code.
Yeah, we're working that.
You're working on it? Good.
Thank
Anything else? Thank you. Any discussion? Looking for a
So we're
motion?
adding some conditions.
Do you want me to,
What conditions are they?
do you want me to do the
So fire
motion?
protection is one.
So what's the deal with fire protection
Yeah.
other than with what Boyd said? That's something.
Yeah, our code requires 120,000 gallons of storage in the system for fire protection alone. Plus, you need
Culinary.
culinary storage. Their system only has 120,000 total.
Period.
To provide culinary and fire.
So what are you looking at for fire? What area are we trying to protect?
The home. They're in a water system, and if, our code says if you're in a water system, the water system is required to provide culinary and fire protection and irrigation.
So how does that get fixed?
Yeah, I guess
That-
I'm struggling.
Okay, what
because-
it says, I'm just going to suggest prior to recordation, the applicant prove to the county engineer and planning director and fire marshal that the water system has sufficient water storage for fire protection. Let them decide
Well, but then
Decide
that-
what?
if it does. Our code requires it. What do you want?
Well,
How-
I'm just struggling, if it don't meet it, then why is there any house up there? So that's where my issue
Well,
is.
I can't
The
answer.
code may have changed, it might have been added later.
I mean, the code did change like in 2005.
There's
For
been
fire
houses
protection.
built in Ridgefield since 2005.
But if it's a condition that they have to prove that, and I guess.
Not to us, to
To the fire marshal.
fire
Yeah.
marshal, county engineer. and
I guess, do we know that it doesn't meet that, or we've heard that it is?
It does, I talked to the state.
So then, I guess, if that is the case, I don't see a reason to put it on a condition when we know that that condition can't be met.
I think it can,
How?
maybe capacity increase.
How?
I,
Like, make another tank?
yeah.
Build the
I
tank
don't,
higher? I don't know what.
it can be met. But our code requires
Well, I
that.
think if it can be met, putting it as a condition is appropriate. If we know that it cannot be met, then there's no
Well,
reason.
it can be, it's whether, yeah.
Okay.
But I guess if Boyd's passed off on it, then what's the other issue?
I don't know if I don't have a letter with Boyd passing off on storage.
Here,
Sorry, I'm the other owner. He did pass off on the lot. They talked about it, but I don't know. I mean, it can't be on us to increase the storage tank for the whole Ridgefield pipeline.
I'm not saying it is.
So then how come it would be a condition on our house? This would affect Grand and PD as well, right? You guys are Ridgefield pipeline. And any future house, right? I mean, that makes all of the houses not to code.
I'm just saying what our code says for us to approve. You're applying for a subdivision, a new subdivision. I'm just saying that's a requirement of our code.
But we can't meet that, right? We can't add storage to the Ridgefield pipeline. So, like she said, why would it be a condition on us to meet the Ridgefield pipelines?
You're the one that's applying for the subdivision. And that's required in subdivisions elsewhere in the county,
So
that there is fire protection.
We are putting a fire hydrant for fire protection. I understand the capacity is not high enough, but I did upload a letter from Boyd yesterday that signed off on the law.
On the road.
On the road, but we talked about fire
protection, and they're working with the Ridgefield pipeline. I mean, we can't, that's
And
not up
that's-
to us.
Well, those types of things need to be in the application, not that they're working on it, that it's ready to go, done.
If yeah, like if Ridgefield Water, it would have a plan to say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So my house that's already existing there technically has no fire protection in Ridgefield?
So when the code changes over time.
You said 17 years ago, right?
Right.
Houses have gone up like crazy since then.
Right, and so, but, we don't necessarily go back and look at what the code was every single specific year. So this code might have changed, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're not sure exactly when it changed, but this is the current code. If you were built under the previous code, you're essentially grandfathered through depending on what that code was. But as time goes on, and particularly fire and water have become more critical within the valley, I don't know the exact word, but more critical within the valley. And we've adopted more international fire code as we've gone along.
And we've met all of that.
Correct, and all this.
One house on a dead-end road, right? Like,
Yes. And so all this is doing is, it's a condition that's essentially within our code. That's all the condition. And if Boyd signs off on it, then
so we just need another letter from Boyd saying this is fine.
yes.
Okay.
And that's what,
Specifically about fire protection.
We're not putting in anything, what Member Sessions is talking about is the fire marshal has to sign off on it. She's not putting in like specific capacity or gallons per minute or anything like
As
that.
long as he says it's okay, I can give you.
Because he is the expert on the fire code.
Okay. Okay.
So, question for you though, where it's just one house, why does it have to be a subdivision?
Thank you.
could be,
I can explain.
yes.
They did an ag split, and in order to build on an ag split, you have to go through the subdivision process.
Okay,
So that's why.
yeah.
And they did the ag split to parcel off the 20
Yeah, the
acres
20
from a
acres.
bigger parcel, so it's,
Okay, I was curious, but
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So condition number 4 would be that the fire marshal approve a fire plan, a fire protection plan.
I kind of, yeah, I can,
And then, what about the easement?
okay, I've got about 3 extra, I've got 4 conditions I'd like to see added.
And they are.
Okay, that prior to recordation of the plat, the private land complies with the standards and requirements found in Morgan County Code 8-12,
So he's working on that. So that's
yeah,
fine.
dash 44P, but,
That's fine.
yep. And number 5, that an easement and maintenance agreement for the private lane is recorded with the county recorder prior to recordation of the plat. He said he's working on that. I also saw that the public utility easements and address for the resident is shown on the plat. That was a comment that was identified by Alica. And then the last one is prior to recordation, the applicant will prove to county engineer, the planning director, and fire marshal that the water system has sufficient water storage for fire protection.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
As long as they sign off on it, then we're good.
Right.
Any more discussion? Looking for a motion?
You want me to do it? Mr. Chair, I move we approve Bar-O-Bar Small Subdivision Application Number 22.028, allowing for a one-lot subdivision of land located at 715 West, 5050 South, Morgan, Utah, 84050, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated June 30th, 2022, with the following additional conditions. Number 4, that Prior to recordation of the plat, the private lane complies with the standards and requirements found in Morgan County Code 8-12-44P. Number 5, that an easement and maintenance agreement for the private lane is recorded with the county recorder prior to recordation of the plat. 6, that public utility easements and an address for the residents is shown on the final plat. And 7, prior to recordation, the applicant will prove to the county engineer, the planning director, and the fire marshal that the water system has sufficient water storage for fire protection.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 8. The proposed preliminary final plat for a Centerlite subdivision located at 250 West Ridgefield Lane. Commissioner Taylor.
So this application for the approval of small subdivision, it consists of 7 lots ranging from 1.56 to 2.60 acres. The property has been designated as rural residential and agriculture, which allows for large lots. The subdivision has water shares from Ridgefield pipeline, and there will be individual septic tanks. The access for lots 1, 2, and 3 are from Ridgefield Lane, and the access for lots 4, 5, 6, and 7 are from State Highway 6. Yeah, that's the review. Any questions?
Do you know if the county's received UDOT approval, from UDOT approval for the driveway access yet?
I have not seen it. Do you want to see it?
It has not.
Okay. And would the applicant like to speak?
I'm Dee Dee Pace. So I did speak to the UDOT engineer. We have worked hand in hand for quite a while. He sent a few revisions back, and we have sent that in. The only thing he said was, it looks good, but I'm behind, so I'm working to get it sent in. So he said everything looked good that we turned in. We've done the side triangles for both entrances. They've been approved. I realized the concern of the Ridgefield Lane, and there is a little hump, but if you go just a little further, you can actually see a lot better both ways from where we're accessing than the Ridgefield Lane. Any question?
You heard my discussion with the fire.
Yes, okay, so on that as well, so Ridgefield Pipeline has got an approved well in place. It is done, they are just finalizing getting power or generator, but there is a well done.
It's not well, it's storage. It's not,
So, yeah, so what it is they have the holding tanks for all the culinary, and then the well is another type of holding tank that has more water than even the spring is producing. So I don't know how the state recognizes that, but I do know that they have more water than what they had. You know, I don't know how they claim storage. I don't know if they say the well is the water and the storage tanks are now the storage tanks. I don't know the rules on that, but they do have a well in place.
I'm aware of that. My condition, I think, covers all that.
I did talk to Boyd as well. He told me that he was fine with, I did not need to put the fire hydrants in until a structure was going to be built. That has to be put in before anything is built. So as far as water on my part, we have a little bit more time to discuss with Boyd and to get the well working, and then to see what the state of Utah actually says is okay to claim for water. And I do agree with them, is there has been quite a few homes, but the rules change. So, but Boyd did approve it.
It's just going to be the same condition.
Yeah, and same condition that UDOT approval.
What capacity do we have? So I've driven that road many times. There is a blind corner. All of these lots are going in a 50-mile-an-hour zone and having driveways off of that, right? So going from 0 to 50, what capacity do we have to either lower the speed limit or change
It's
the...
a state road.
State road.
No.
Okay.
Other than citizens can request to UDOT.
But as far as us, we can't. The UDOT will determine where they can access on and off. But I think in this case, personally, if they're not pushing to have it done, that this would be better to have UDOT's approval before it goes to approval of preliminary and final with the situation we are and the concern of the citizens.
I agree. And we could get some clear answers on the water,
Yep.
too.
Anything for the applicant?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Do you want to read which conditions?
Can we talk about the zoning, too?
That's another question I have too.
One question on the conditions. Do the conditions have to be met before anything starts, or?
Yes.
Yeah, before it can be recorded, they'd have to meet the conditions.
Okay.
Did you want to postpone this application till UDOT or make that a condition of approval?
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, they're looking down the road. So in this case, I would say postpone and make sure that UDOT's all up on it and we're good before we do approval.
So if we approved it tonight with conditions, and let's say they don't meet the conditions in a year, will that approval expire?
Till when? 6 months?
6 months, and then they can ask for a 6-month extension with the county commission.
So basically, they would have 1 year,
With you guys.
yeah, they would have, because the 6-month extension is pretty much automatic if you just ask for it, correct?
Yeah.
So you'd basically have 1 year, so if UDOT gets backed up, you know, the water pipe breaks or something like that, then you're on a clock at that point. Versus if you delay. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, Dee Dee.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, actually, it's more.
He's
more-
musing.
It's more of a rhetorical question to ourselves. So we're musing, as she said. So if this gets approved with conditions tonight and something happens with the conditions, that's beyond your control. Basically, if the conditions aren't met within 6 months, you can request a 6-month extension, and that's essentially automatic. So you have 1 year from the time that it's approved, and if something happens in that 1 year, UDOT gets backed up with work, they can't quite get your driveway plans approved, or something happens with the water, any number of things, you're still on that clock, unfortunately. That clock doesn't reset just because of hard luck. So one of the options that we have tonight would essentially just be to delay voting on it and to bring it back at a more opportune time, so that you don't feel like you're being pressured and calling UDOT every day saying, where is this approval?
So, but you're saying I have 6 months?
If we vote tonight, correct.
Okay, so, meeting with the engineer multiple times and discussing and looking at it, we went over everything extensively, and he said if you turn it in like this, you're good. And he told me, because I said I was turned in to be on the meeting, and then he said, well, just tell him it's good to go. And I said, oh, Okay, well, I'm sure
Right,
you're gonna get a letter.
right.
But he said, but I'm working on it to get him the letter, so. I'm hoping, he gave me 30 days. We had a few revisions, and he gave me 30 days, and we had it, well, within those days, and then he said, well, sorry, we're backed up. So, I don't know. If he has a timeline, I don't know UDOT's, but I know everything looked good when we turned it in. But that's just what he told me. Are you gonna open it to public comment?
No, ma'am.
So while we're working on that, can we talk about the zoning?
Sure.
That was just one of the concerns from Chet.
Are you talking about zoning?
It's already existing zoning.
Hold on.
Because it's an administrative review only, which means your job is to look at our code and check checklists. You can't talk about legislative items such as zoning.
Right, they're already zoned this way, so it's
It
not-
meets the current zone.
Yeah.
So that can't even come up in the conversation.
It's 1 acre zoning along the road currently.
But, and so it's all 1 acre, so I mean, you got the 200 feet going back, is what it is. I mean, it's, yeah.
We actually had room to do one more lot, but we wanted bigger, nicer lots, so we're well within the frontage, the acreage, everything that we need.
You just, each lot has R1 and A20 in it.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify one thing with the owner. We did meet with Boyd Kerrigan, and he has signed basically the master plat submittal on the fire safety. Met with the old fire marshal too, Dave Rich, and he said they place tankers in the Ridgefield portable area throughout the summer, just for those reasons. They're aware of the capacity concerns, and that's how they mitigate it. So it was extensive conversations to make sure that everything's going down and then signed the plat. So not just approved, but actually signed it.
Anything else?
So what was your choice? You,
The only issue I have is the road issue. I think that would be better to have a letter from UDOT stating that everything's good versus hearsay, is my thought on that one. The rest of it I don't have a problem with.
So, just so you know, UDOT makes a member of Morgan attend the meetings and why they discuss everything. So it's not just my hearsay. There was a member from Morgan that represented Morgan County, and there was no comment, no concern, and we went over everything.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it's not, I'm not just saying anything. There was actually someone from Morgan, they had the ability to comment, and they didn't have, after we discussed everything, they said they were good.
It's just we don't have anything showing
Yeah.
us that it's,
And
that's.
I'm fine with, getting the letter. He said he'd give it to me, so I'm just
I would just,
patiently waiting.
I just think you postpone it, even if it's a month, let you get the letter. You can't move on anyways until you have it. That way, we'll just make sure everything's good before we do approve it. They can't record it if they don't have it.
Right, basically, what Member Stevens is saying is it just won't start your clock if you wanted to delay, so that you wouldn't feel time pressure. But if you want to start the clock.
yeah, we decide.
Oh, yeah.
I think because of the citizen concern, we should wait for the letter.
So does that mean another meeting, or just like a conditional waiver that I turn in? If it's not turned in, then
You would have to come back here for approval, because you won't have a vote today. It'll just be postponed until that's done. But as long as you have it, if there's no concerns, it'll take you 2 seconds and you'll be gone.
okay.
And that really.
How long to postpone though?
Well, that's the question. You think you can have it in 30 days?
It's a government, I don't know.
My suggestion would be,
It's really nice, but, they are busy.
what's our meetings in July, Bailey?
The 14th and the 28th.
28th? I would say postpone it to the 28th, And then if you don't have it, then let Bailey know so that she could postpone it on the agenda or whatever. We could take care of it to, you know, to help you to get it. But that would give you a month to take care of it.
Is there anything else that you can see that is concerning?
That's the only one that I see that is the road issue. I think it would be fair for everybody and the right thing to have that letter before we made final.
And I noticed the planner also noticed that public utility easements and the addresses need to be on the final plat too. And that could be worked on.
I think Jess was aware of that as well. He was working on it, but everyone's.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
I move to postpone item number 8 to the July 28th meeting.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 9, the, is it Stredbeck? Stredbeck's small subdivision?
So the applicant is seeking the approval of a small subdivision located at 1959 North, 6900 East Croydon. The subdivision will consist of 3 lots. Lot 1 will be 22.86 acres, Lot 2 will be 1.01 acres, and Lot 3 will be 1.02 acres. The majority of Lot 2 and 3 are in R120, while the majority of Lot 1 is in A20. The subdivision will be provided water Croydon pipeline. The access and frontage of all the lots are from 7,000 east. The proposal has been reviewed, and once all corrections are made, it will be the preliminary plan. Any questions?
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, me. There was no approval letter from Weber Morgan Health yet on the perk test that is required for application.
I believe they posted it, the application itself, but yeah, no approval letter quite yet.
Okay.
I can address the status if you'd like.
So does the applicant want to speak? Go ahead and please step to the microphone and give us your name.
My name is Larry Stredbeck. The applications have gone into the health department. The holes have been dug. We selected a certified excavator that's certified by the health department to do the perk tests. The terraces in the holes have been dug, but he's been having issues getting the health inspector back out because of scheduling. He says right now with the 4th of July and their schedule, it's problematic. Normally in the past, he has indicated that they haven't had the health department need to look over their shoulder on a perk test, but for some reason the inspector wanted to come out and oversee what the certified contractor was doing. So it's sitting there, it's all ready to go. They're just waiting for the health department inspector to get back out there.
I mean, just a condition that the letter is received prior to recordation probably is adequate.
That's the only thing then you notice was.
And I noticed, for whatever reason, those public utility easements, those 10-foot, along the back of the big lot, it's missing. I see them along the back of the smaller lots inside, but that just would need to be added. That's nothing.
Haven't those been missing a lot lately?
Yeah, it's part of our code. And it's been different
Different surveyors.
Different surveyors too, so I don't know. We must have a unique code, I guess. But that's all I could see was the easement and then the letter from Weaver Morgan Health.
We got it.
Anything else for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Make it a requirement, we'll add it.
Any more discussion?
2 conditions. An easement. And Weaver Morgan Health.
Yep.
What was it?
What?
Lot 1?
Is that the big lot?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move to forward a positive recommendation. Hold on, I thought I was at the page. Oh crap, now I can't find it.
Those are always in different spots.
I know.
Page 9.
There we go. Okay, I move that we recommend, I move we approve the Stretchback Subdivision preliminary and final plat application. Are we doing a recommendation? We're just doing it.
We're doing
All right,
it.
I move we approve the Stretchback Subdivision preliminary and final plat application number 22.039, allowing for
3 lot.
a 7 lot. Mine says 7 lot
Here.
on page 9.
Here.
Oh, you might be on the other.
See right there?
It's a 7, it's 3.
Yeah,
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, but this is what we want.
Okay,
It's got the conditions.
allowing for a 3-lot subdivision of land located at 1959 North, 6900 East, Croydon, Utah, 84018, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated June 30th, 2022, and with the following additional conditions. That we add an easement to Lot 1, to the back lot line, and that there's approval from Morgan Weaver Health.
Weaver Morgan.
Weaver Morgan Health Department.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10, Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 2 preliminary plat.
So, the application is for Wasatch Peaks Ranch, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. The request is for a 25-lot preliminary subdivision plat located in Section 2, 10, 11, and 14 of Township 4 North, Range 1 East, west of Peterson area in Morgan County. The parcels being subdivided consist of 12,400 acres and will be divided into 25 single-family lots. So this tract of land is seen as RSD, or Resort Special District, with the intention of having a master plan community built. The developer will construct a private road system that will connect with North Merchant Valley Drive east of the subdivision. Sewer and water utilities will be privately owned and maintained by the Wasatch Peaks Ranch Water and Sewer District. Road and fire protection services will be provided by the Wasatch Peaks Ranch Road and Fire District. The Wasatch Peaks Ranch Development Agreement for this property was approved on October 30th, 2019. And that's kind of what we're going off of. Any questions?
Any questions for staff? And I probably should have brought this up in the initial public comment period, but we did receive one email. Had to do, this is from Trevor Kobe. Is it Kobe? Kobe. Thank you. He says that Morgan County requires that the developer show how the development will connect with and provide for future development of adjacent property, and then he cites some example code. The code itself actually says that doesn't require that, but it says it may be required. So if the county council wants to add those as conditions, I'm sorry, the county commission, if they want to add those as conditions, they certainly can. But most of what he's bringing up are private civil matters, and really don't have to do with what's at hand tonight, which is the preliminary plat for Phase 2. And so we're just looking at whether they comply with all the requirements for a preliminary plat.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I also did add Lance's last memo to the end of this. The only thing that I didn't see were the, well, item 1 and 2, for that review, for the WPRDD will serve letter. I think it says on here that he may have told them that one letter for the whole project was enough, but he's calling out that they would need it for the specific phase.
Where are you looking?
It's the last of it.
It's a lot, it's
It was
it's a last page.
last page of the Wasatch Peaks one. Right there.
Now, the property owner affidavit, do you know if they corrected the notary's name appearing on the property owner line?
Yeah, I haven't seen a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, yes, please.
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Brian Estroff, and I work for Wasatch Peaks Ranch. Thank you for this opportunity tonight to present our second preliminary plat, which consists of 25 home sites. I'd like to thank staff for all their hard work during this process. I'd also like to welcome Joshua Cook, new Director of Planning. Looking forward to working with you, Joshua. And well, I'd like to state that WPR agrees with staff recommendations for approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Does anybody have any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Discussion?
Yeah, we don't have anything showing to me that everything's in place for this phase, right? That's
What do you
what
mean we don't have?
Well, I mean, like, their fire, their, all that type of stuff, is that part of this? I'm confused with the development agreement, because I know that they can do so much, but still, can you
All
help
of
us?
the utilities and fire service are going to be provided by their own developers. So they're going to be private utilities. Everything's going to be self-contained, is my understanding.
So that has nothing to do with us then approving this next phase?
No, you can ask them to provide the will serve letters for each phase if you want, but it's their own private utility companies that would be providing will serve letters to provide to their own companies, so it's kind of.
That's part of what my question was. I just didn't know with that, so,
We did provide will serve letters, so I'm not sure why they're missing, but we have provided those.
Right, so we
Yeah.
changed planning directors midstream, and did you get Lance had sent out one on April 22nd, I believe.
20th.
April 20th, with basically 4 conditions: submit a new property owner affidavit, notary's name appears on.
Okay.
Had you received that?
That one, yeah, if that one is not in there, I don't believe we submitted that, so I'll get that in.
Okay. And we can give you a copy of this, but I think these are just going to show up as conditions of approval.
Okay.
Or disapproval, I guess. I don't want to speak for the rest of the
Okay.
the commission. That's not my place.
Thank you.
Yep.
And the comment regarding phase 2 being approved before the referendum stuff goes through, we don't really have any control over that.
No,
Because the application is here if the application meets the requirements.
That's exactly right, because regardless of the legal status of what's going on, we're not experts in that, and I don't think we can consider it in any way because of that. Because I can't say, well, they have an 80% chance of winning or losing or anything like that. So
Right now, their application's been approved,
correct,
so we can't stop it.
correct.
So will serve letters were sent.
So originally Lance had told them that they only needed one for the entire development. And then in the April 20th one, he said that they should have one for each phase.
Well, yeah, but if they're the ones that are giving themselves a will serve, then it makes sense that they would only do it one time.
Right.
But it needs to be submitted with every application, because it's a requirement of the application.
Well, don't we have that letter?
You should.
Yeah, but it's not, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, it's not staff's responsibility to move the letter with every application.
Gotcha.
One
It needs to go
letter,
with
they
the
can
application.
email it in every time.
Bailey, I did receive Lance's comments, and I did resubmit one just for this phase, the Wilsford letters.
Okay, I'll have to look, because I don't see anything.
Okay. I can resend them, but yeah, we definitely broke it up by phase. Lance was very clear with that. Thank you.
Any more discussion? I'm ready for a motion.
Before you make the motion, it's a recommendation of a positive recommendation or negative, not approval.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the Wasatch Peak Ranch Phase 2 preliminary plat. Recommendation, excuse me, yes. I move that we recommend approval, Wasatch Peak Ranch Phase 2 preliminary plat, application 22.013, allowing for 25 lot subdivision land located approximately 4213 North Morgan Valley Drive, Peterson, Utah, based on the findings and the conditions listed in the staff report dated June 30th, 2022. We had some conditions, right? The letters?
Yeah, I think they're already listed.
Okay.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Where's the letters? The will serve letters are not a condition. The engineer and surveyor comments are. So we would need to add a number 4.
If you send them, it's all they gotta do is get them to Bailey, so.
That will serve letters are provided.
Somebody like to add a condition?
Just add the condition in your motion, Dustin.
Yeah, we'll add the condition that the will serve letters will be submitted
Prior to recommendation?
prior, yep.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, on to item 11, work session decision, area plan update. And, okay, so Bailey had sent out the area plans to all of us, and hopefully you've been able to look at all of those. I believe Enterprise, my area was 2007 last time anybody had looked at it. So I assume that most people are in the same boat, that they're looking at 10 to 15 years ago. I guess what we are discussing tonight is our overall plan on getting citizen input, that type of stuff, to make sure that, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to look up his name. Was it Ron Russell?
Musselman.
Russellman?
Musselman.
Musselman, I'm sorry. Hopefully I didn't misread him, but he didn't seem to be down with the general plan entirely, which is, we need citizen input for this thing, and the general plan is not, it's not written in stone now. The draft that you see is just that, it's a draft. And if you don't like it, and I also feel safe in saying this, not all of us up here are very happy with what's in the draft either. So, but we do need input because, frankly, I don't know what everybody in the county thinks. And I'm not as smart as most other people who have lived here a lot longer than me. So we are planning on having meetings based on areas within the county. So there's a Stoddard, North Morgan, there's Croydon, there's, of course, Enterprise, the metropolitan area of Morgan, Milton, Porterville, and I think that's it. So we just have to organize when we're going to get these together, and the organization of it, how many people are going to be invited, and because we don't want it to be a free-for-all, we want people to have like meaningful input, but something that we can actually put into a serious plan. So that's what we are talking about tonight.
So I haven't done anything with mine yet. I'm thinking I'm gonna schedule a meeting for July 12th.
Okay.
And invite people to come. We'll probably post it at the Milton Park, because that's where community meetings get held sometimes.
But Bailey will send that out, right? Is that how we're doing
That's
it?
what I was gonna ask you guys. Did you get my email on the language for the Facebook post for each individual area? Are you okay
Yes.
with that? Is there something you want to change? And I can post a Facebook post for each individual area with a map too, so that people can kind of see what area they would be in.
Question with that. Round Valley's included with Croydon, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Where was it, Bailey? I remember reading it, but no.
It's from June 17th.
So I wasn't available for the last discussion on that.
But there was, didn't she send another one with
Was that going to be a general for
something
everybody?
about how she was wording it?
Like a date for everybody?
She did.
Or was there going to be?
I don't see that one.
So you're going to basically,
I pick a date.
facilitate and be in charge of the meetings,
Right.
and help pick out committee members to come up with the area plan, right, or amend the area plan.
And do I need to let you know what date and place and you put that on, or do I need to?
But that's, you sent that letter out saying something about that, didn't you? How to do that?
I don't have access to my emails on this computer, hold on.
I just, I
Let
don't,
me, I'm trying to look for it.
I can't find anything, but I thought I read, maybe it was, I can't remember. I know you sent us out the area plans, and then you sent one out about information, but then I thought there was one you sent
There
out
it is.
about setting up the meetings.
Yes, and it was on the 17th,
I got that,
and
but
it was a PDF, yeah.
it wasn't the information one, it was a different one.
Oh, it wasn't that one.
Yeah, it was on the 17th, that's the language
That's
of
the PDF.
you seeking members for the area, for each area plan committee.
Okay, so when they contact you for more information, what more information are you giving them?
If they don't know what area they are in, and I can tell them if, you know, if they're in the Enterprise area or in Porterville, Richville, and then give them your county email. 'Cause I don't think you want people having your personal number. So you'll have to be a little more diligent on checking your county email
Hey
to see
Shane,
if
I
anybody.
just forwarded it to you on your Morgan County email.
Is there a way we could hold another work session to kind of discuss your plans of how you're going to run and facilitate those meetings, the questions you're going to ask, and who you're going to select for your committee? Is there a way we can do that?
I don't see any problem with help, because
Yeah. But also, I'm not gonna select people. I think people need to be, what's it called?
Volunteer?
Nominated or appointed by the community members, because I don't wanna get accused of picking only certain people to fit.
You want to get a good cross, you want to make those a good cross-section, though.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
Do like you said last time, draw names out of a hat. That takes the biasness out of it.
But you need a
Yeah, we
good
could take a work
cross-section.
session on what kind of questions and the procedure. What's the
That'd be
procedure?
excellent.
I believe we do have committee application forms.
We do.
I don't know if if they talk about area plans in it too or not.
Just a minute.
Yeah, but then, you mean so people fill out a form to be on the committee?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then that again makes us pick the committee?
No.
Or is it everybody that submits it gets to be on the committee?
Well, didn't we decide 9 members,
7.
7 members?
Yeah.
So I think you have applications out for them, and then you hold your meeting and let everybody pick who's on it.
Yeah.
So like you say, okay, we're gonna have 7 people on the committee, you write down 7 names, and then you just have to, whoever has the most votes, you know, work it down, so you get, that way the people are choosing.
Actually, it does say area plan committee. So we can print out or post that on Facebook for people to fill out, and then they can email it directly to each area, each one of you.
So we could maybe have a work session on the 14th about questions to ask?
If you want.
What's our agenda like?
We've got 3 or 4 things.
Big ones?
Let me look here.
I've looked at like the Milton area one, and it's pretty in-depth with a lot of stuff that's in there, and part of me wonders if it's overkill.
Necessary.
Yeah, necessary. Do we really
What
need?
required things do we have to have in our area plan?
Though some of it deals with that we really don't have control over.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good to have him help us.
Yours is already being done, huh?
It's just starting.
you
But they
have-
plan to be done by 1st of October.
Okay, so we have five things. Most of them, they're fairly normal applications, not too complicated. There's a few that are a little,
So how long would it take to do a little bit of training, do you think? On it, or whatever,
to do what?
for him to help us? I mean, what do you think, in 15 minutes, half hour to go through it? Half hour?
We can do a work session more specific to questions.
I'm in favor.
Me too.
Me too.
Yep.
Okay.
So we could still post it before then,
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah,
our
to-
work
To
session.
get the word out,
Yeah.
but don't make a decision on it until after you've had the work session.
So you don't have a meeting on the 12th.
So is everybody happy with the wording that she could put out on Facebook? Are you
I
gonna?
could do it as a whole, or I could make it more area specific for.
I think more area specific would be easier in the long run for you.
Yeah,
So you
and
guys
then people can share it to their own area Facebook pages.
There you go. Okay.
Like Morgan Moms and there's Enterprise Ladies too.
So are you just gonna send out for applications to be on the committee? Is that kind of what we're doing at this point?
Yeah, you can do it that way, or you can just ask if people want to be involved in it. So you can still have community members come and give their input, but have, much like you guys, the committee will be on one side, the community members will be on the other.
I guess what I'm thinking is if we send out an email or whatever, saying that we are going to hold it at a, because we don't know the date yet, but anybody who would like to serve on the committee, apply for it, and then after our meeting on the 12th, then we could, hopefully by then we've got people's names for that want to serve on the committees, and then we could set up the meeting.
As long as they know that if they fill out the application, that doesn't automatically put them on the committee.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing, maybe because you're gonna do the next work session, you can also have all of you pick committee members for each area fund so that there's a little bit more diversity in people, making the decision. So it's not just on you, it's on the entire planning commission to pick your area fund committee. Much like the county commission does where they appoint you guys, your specific areas. You guys could appoint specific committee members to your area, to his area, each,
But then we're still tied to our agenda. Does that make sense?
No, because you got all of us instead of just you.
Just you. We'd all vote.
I know, but then we're tied to the agenda as a whole. I want them to pick everything.
Who's them?
The people that live in that area. People apply, we have our meeting, community members, the people that apply go, the community members vote on the 7 people they want.
Okay.
That's how I prefer it.
Maybe just put in the email, we were taking applications for those who would like to serve on the area committee. When the meeting for the area takes place, there will be 7 people selected from the applications.
At the first meeting.
At the first meeting to serve on the committee. Just something like that, so there's clarification that, there's gonna be 7 people. I don't know, I'm not the
And
best
just
at
because you
words,
apply
but-
doesn't mean that you're in.
Right, but
Yeah.
at least if they know that there's gonna be 7 people selected, they know that that's not an automatic, I'm on.
There used to be a committee application form on the old website, but I can't find it on the new one. It used to be on the county clerk's page, but all there is just to get on their agenda, on the commission agenda, so.
My page is cooler.
Your what?
Planning page is cooler, and it probably has it somewhere.
Okay, under the forms, maybe?
On Facebook.
Here, I'll look.
Well, I'm already on it, so.
Did you have your forms? I'll look and.
Yeah, it's a planning commission committee application. But I can fix it.
Just area plan committee.
Yeah.
So if we have our training on the 14th, when would we want applications due? Just by the time we each have our area meetings?
No, I would say by the 14th.
But I would say by, you want to give them at least 2 weeks, so no later than the 15th.
So no earlier than the 15th?
No later than the 15th can they submit. So if I post tomorrow that you guys are looking for area plan committee members and fill out this application, they have 2 weeks. A month? A month to turn in the application.
So just make July 31st the deadline.
That's a rumor mill works.
Yeah.
We can make
Give them 14
the
minutes.
28th, and then we can hold the training.
The training's gonna be on the 14th, all right?
He's
You
switch
can
it.
hold it on the 28th, give people 30 days to sign up, submit their applications, and we can hold the training at the time the applications are due.
There is a chance that the 28th might not work for me to be here.
I won't be here.
I would rather go the 14th personally if we could, if it's not a, yeah, I might have a conflict that night, so.
So you're moving them just do the,
That's fine, it's just this.
Well, we can have our training, and have the applications due on the 28th.
Yeah.
They don't have to be due at the same time, or done at the same time.
training 14, applications due by July 20th.
That's what I'm
Pearson
thinking, and
already
after our
been done by-
14th meeting, then we could look at setting up when we want to actually have our meeting and send out again, if that would work.
Planning group, they got a grant.
Okay.
Because then we'd want to hold our meeting the first part of August.
So on your
We
Facebook
didn't get
page
the grant.
or post, you're gonna put what you have written down here
Economic development did.
with
And they
addition,
did
with an addition of the
Right into the valley.
application process for committees, right?
I'm gonna post a link to the application
Okay.
so that they can fill it out, and then I'll just have them submit it to the regular submit folder email that we have, that we use for every application, and then I will forward it to whoever whoever area it applies.
And I would really change up this application.
This is an old application.
Well, you don't need, for the area plan, you don't need any planning class. It asks for education and planning classes, mainly just describe why you wish to serve and disclose any conflicts.
Can I even
Just-
back up? All I would need is their name.
You don't want to know why they want to.
Well, but I guess what I'm thinking is you're gonna have their name and then you're gonna have the people in that area
They
choose
know
who
'em.
it is, they know 'em. So to have them submit a bunch of information and paperwork, all I'm concerned with is someone to serve on the committee. And then we're gonna let the area pick who represents them.
I'm not
Maybe a
concerned with the
name,
resume
email, and
either.
phone number?
I would
Yeah,
prefer just
something
to have
simple,
name, phone
name,
number,
Name, email, and
address.
phone number.
And email address.
Your name,
And an address, so we know.
yeah, an
Well,
address.
That's not really an application.
Yeah, and maybe
A form.
application is the wrong word, just say, we are looking for people to serve on a committee for your area plan. If you'd be interested, please send the following information. There will be 7 people chosen the night of the first meeting to serve on the committee.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else on this? Okay, item number 12, for those who have not met Josh Cook. He's hiding behind that monitor there.
I know, we need to get him, he's on the itty bitty table.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to give a little bio, just so everybody kind of knows who you are? Because we're going to be seeing a lot of you, I hope, in the years to come.
Hopefully. I'm Joshua Cook. I'm the new Planning Development Director. I have 23 years in planning. I've worked in Oregon, Kentucky, Arizona, and now Utah. I've worked both for private sector and public sector in both development and long range, short range. I've written about 12 different general plans over the years, a full zoning code rewrite. And I've dealt with a lot of different issues with development, both on public and private side. So I have my bachelor's from Brigham Young and my master's from Clemson. So
Go Tigers.
Cougar and Tiger. Got the cats covered. Any questions?
Welcome.
Thanks.
You go by Joshua or Josh?
Josh is fine. I sign all my documents Joshua because it looks more official, but I've been called worse.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
When are you gonna get another planner to help you?
I hope so. Gotta advertise for it first.
Yeah.
Alec is saying please.
Does
that mean she's gonna come on?
No. Mark would shoot us.
We ain't worried about Mark.
Any other business or staff questions? Okay. Did everybody get their corrections into Bailey from the previous? You
I did, you were good.
Okay, cool.
And so I'm looking for a motion.
I approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So moved.
Second.
All,
Aye.
Aye.
I can't even keep up.
It doesn't matter, it's over.
Who motioned to adjourn? You
Listen.
second?
Yes.
Or you second?